So let's get to the last section. We want to show some love out there for some of the people who are trying their hardest to make sure that independent media stays together and works together. Like I said, it takes a village. It needs a lot of help. So let's go ahead and play this video over here. We had a little action by Assange. I talked about it today on the Critical Hour with Garland Nixon and Wilmer Leon. Check this on out. This is a little video by our friends at Indy who've kind of put together this little kind of like fam of sorts where a lot of independent media join together and help each other out to get the information out there. Take a listen.
Who are these people?
And I'm going to say something a little controversial here, but I think this is what they're going to do. Because this kicks the can down the road probably till November. At least a couple of more months. Allow for one of the things to be appealed and go forward. Yeah, sure. And we'll reject it 6 months later. They just want what they're trying to do is, unfortunately, and I love the man and I want to see him out and free Julian Assange. They're trying to run the clock out on him.
They're 10 more years, Julian.
They're trying to see him die in prison in Britain so they don't have to extradite him here. And I hate to say that, and it kills me to say that, but I got to be honest. That's what I see. If you are able and of means, I know that we've had a QR code up to be able to support Jesse J.
No, that's it. Jamie, thank you. So your thoughts on that? They just gave him the rights to an appeal on the grounds that his First Amendment right was denied. Now, an appeal process might take, 6, 8, 10 months, maybe a year. Who knows what's going on? His consolation prize for winning his right to an appeal, right, is that he gets to stay in Belmarsh prison again and still gets to continue to get tortured. At the end of the day, I think this is more about political maneuvering by the West, where they don't want to bring Julian Assange right here to the United States right now, especially the Biden administration doesn't want that on his hands. So they kick the can down the road. Yeah. They put up a fight. It's all kabuki theater. That's the West saying they want to get him over there. Now, I think that when Stella Assange came out, and said some things that she hopes maybe her and the law team, the lawyers for Julian Assange, think it's best to stay in Belmarsh with a chance that he can get released and sent to Australia, maybe to live out the rest of his life on home arrest with his family and his loved ones. But at the end of the day, I think they think that the United States, once he comes here, it's game over. So I don't know how you chalk this up. It just seems like to me, like what Indy said, that they're kicking the can down the road. Your thoughts?
I agree with that. And it's so sad to have to say that out loud, because it seems on the surface, it seems like this is good news. We get this chance. And like every time we see Stella, she posts regularly, the homeless left, we follow Stella all the time, and like she's always so hopeful in her posts, and it always saddens me when I see her say, we have some hope, there's new hope here. There was one she did a few months after the Assange day, we were at the 5-year mark, and there was a big push on that time. And I remember that shortly after that, Biden had said some off-the-cuff comment about how I'm willing to look into it, and Stella got so excited. She's like, Biden's willing to look into it. I'm like, these are just words, just like you said, kicking the can down the road. Street. Yeah. But she has to stay hopeful. I get that, but we're here to put the reality into the situation that there's no good end here. Yeah. They're trying to stall it out so he can't function anymore as a human being that's being tortured to death for over 5 years now
in Belmarsh. Yeah, the fact that he was in the Ecuadorian embassy right inside Great Britain was not even like a good way to live your life. He was, I mean, it was better than he's living right now. Now he's being tortured left and right.
So at the last court hearing, it was mentioned, like they asked, well, is Julian Assange allowed to be in the courtroom? And the answer was yes, he was actually allowed to be in there. Why wasn't he in there? Stella said his mental health is not doing well.
Yeah.
And so we know that's, if you can't be in your own courtroom for you have these people outside. I mean, there were so many people for you that you would think that you would hope that would be a moment you can get some kind of rejuvenation, feel that crowd. Yeah. He couldn't even make it in the court. So I'm just feeling like, man, how much time does he even have left? And they're just going to stall this out. This is really sad to see.
Yeah. Here's some consortium news. And Joe Loria wrote an article. I think he did a really great job with it and talking about go ahead, Jamie, put it up. The Can you move it up so we can read it a little bit? Sorry. Assange wins right to appeal on First Amendment issues. The High Court in London ruled Monday that Julian Assange can appeal his extradition to the United States on the ground he is being denied his First Amendment rights. And I'm just going to read a little bit into this really quickly. The High Court in London on Monday granted Julian Assange the right to appeal the order to extradite him to the United States on the grounds that the U.S. did not satisfy the court that it would allow Assange a First Amendment defense in the U.S. court. We spent a lot of time listening to the United States putting lipstick on a pig, but the judges didn't buy it, Stella Assange told reporters outside the court building. As a family, we are relieved, but how long can this go on? The United States should read the situation and drop the case now. Assange has been in prison in London's notorious Belmarsh prison for more than 5 years on remand pending the outcome of his extradition. He must now spend an untold number of more months in the maximum security prison awaiting the start of his appeal. In that sense, it was a bitter victory for Assange. He gets to stay in prison another year or more. Joe Biden doesn't have to worry about a journalist showing up in chains in Alexandria, Virginia during a presidential campaign. And of course, Assange could lose his appeal and arrive in the U.S. at a more opportune time for Biden. In another sense, it was a victory for the supremacy of the European law when it comes to free speech. Now, I'm going to be attending that's good. You can take it down now, Jamie. I'm going to be attending the Libertarian Convention in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is expected to show up Saturday. If I have a question or I get a question with him, I really wanted to ask him, have you second thought your decision on labeling Cuba a state sponsor of terrorism? Because I know he can get away and say that one now. I'm going to ask him about Julian Assange. Yeah. Have you changed your position on Julian Assange? Will you pardon him? That's going to be my question for Donald Trump if I see him. Because I think there's a lot of people within his base are still supportive of Julian Assange and always look at him as his free speech advocate. I do believe there are people who kind of, the RFK people, there's a lot of RFK people out there, believe it or not. The majority of them probably don't think that Israel, Gaza, Palestinian situation is a deal breaker for them. But there are a lot of people who it's close to being a deal breaker who are still saying, I'm going to deal with RFK's position, but I still don't like his position as a Zionist. There are a lot of people, Trumpers, I believe, out there that have the same position on Assange. Like, I'm going to support Donald Trump because I believe he's our best choice, but I don't like his position on Julian Assange. Your thoughts?
There might be a few there that Trump would be worried about losing, and he might actually have to answer that question if you get a chance to actually ask him that, Pasta. I hope you do. And my guess is that he's already prepared an answer for that, but who knows? Maybe you'll catch him off guard. Who knows? But he might say something like Biden has recently said, I'm willing to look at it. And then there's going to be a lot of Trump supporters who go, oh, thank God he said it. He said it. They're going to, in their mind, that means he's checked the box. He's going to look at it. Oh, now I'm okay with it. I'll vote for him. He's going to look at it. What does that? Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned WikiLeaks how many times on the campaign in 2016? WikiLeaks. Now he just walked away from it. I don't know. Maybe he's had some time to stew on the whole situation and understands that it's not politically advantageous to kill Julian Assange. I don't know. He did go along with the whole Pompeo plan to whack him, right? And so I don't know. I'm hoping that he can change his position. I think it's a good question to ask him. So
I hope you get it.